Hi, thanks for joining us today. I'm Barbara Irwin, LVNV Homes and Land. And with me today I have Dawn and Brian. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Dawn Weaver with Old Republic Title, escrow officer.
Brian Holland, sales manager, Old Republic Title Company here in the great city of Las Vegas.
So we're starting this segment with earnest money deposits and opening of escrow and what to expect for first-time home buyers. It can be tedious, it can be scary, right?
Yes, definitely.
So when you first open your escrow with your escrow officer, you will come in with your completely signed and initialed contract, and you will have your earnest money deposit with you. That earnest money deposit is held in escrow and applied to your closing funds. We don't have a live escrow until we have received that earnest money deposit. That is the biggest part, right?
Right. And you know, it's good that she said completely signed because I always miss a signature or initial or something
On our contract, and our agents never do that. We don't want to point any fingers. So once we have your earnest money deposit, then your contract is in fact live and ready to go. Earnest money, however, is kind of a touchy subject.
Yes.
So I'm sure you've been in situations where your file has canceled for whatever reason, and the earnest money is held in escrow.
Yes.
So earnest money does not get released by escrow until we have completely signed cancellation instructions by all parties.
Awesome. So the one thing that I run into when I'm out with a buyer, they find a house that they want. They're like, why do I have to put so much money down? What is the earnest money for? Well, it's a good faith deposit saying that you're going to go forward. If anything happens with your loan or inspection, you're okay. But if you just decide one day, I want this house over here instead, then you have a little bit of an issue because you've already put your earnest money deposit down. Now, how would you handle that situation? Because they're going to come to you.
They are. And in all honesty, the purpose of escrow is to be that third disinterested party. So the agents will essentially work that out and let us know by instruction only who is going to get that earnest money deposit. But keep in mind that when you have a buyer that just all of a sudden says, well, I just decided I want the house next door, that seller has had their house off the market.
That's
And
right.
so the earnest money deposit is there for that purpose, for the agents to then decide what a proper disbursement would be in a case like that. And 9 out of 10 times the escrow company is doing work behind the scenes on behalf of this transaction
Yes.
to make sure that it's going smoothly and we're ahead of the game. So a lot of people have put work into a file prior to canceling, and people seem to forget that. And escrow doesn't make up the money for that. So
That's
if
true.
we've done work on a file and you guys cancel, that's it. We don't get paid for it.
It's very important that you're serious when you move forward.
Absolutely. And that your intentions are in the right place when buying a property, because it's not just you buying a property, it's another family, being displaced as the seller as well.
Okay, so once they have the earnest money, it's on deposit. The lender gets all their information. Then we come to signing. What comes into the process of getting your docs ready? The date down, and what is date down, and
Date-
all of those things.
Date down is confusing for somebody who's not in the title business, but a quick thumbnail sketch of it is where we've gone and done our background checking into the property and any liens or anything that would come up against the sellers or buyers or anything like that. Cleared all of those. Now we have our documents, they've been signed, we're ready to fund with the lender, we're ready to record. We date down the property again to make sure no new liens have popped up against the property from the time that escrow started to the time that we're ready to record.
It does happen.
And it happens. So there could be a sewer lien that pops up at the last minute that will cloud the title. There could be a tax lien that would pop up at the last minute that will cloud the title. And those items can hold up recording, absolutely. We have to make sure that we're offering clear title to our new owner. That's essentially what we're doing.
So say a lien pops up, how do you actually get that cleared?
It depends on what kind of lien it is. If we need to go back to our seller, or we need to, contact the buyer, or whatever, we go through the agents. It depends. If it's a tax lien, of course, we're going to go to the seller and say, hey, are you aware of this? Is it just a common name? Is it just a simple you can give me a statement of information and I can clear it for you that says, hey, this is not our party? Is it a sewer lien where we can just say, hey, you know, this was just an error or just needs to be paid through escrow and we're good to go? Some things are easier to clear than others. Understand that there are third-party items that might take longer.
Do you want to scroll to the next flyer? And thank you very much. Let's see. So we've talked about opening escrow, and that's when we actually put the earnest money in
Yes.
with the signed around contract. And then we get our closing documents. We schedule a closing date.
Yes.
Then what else do you do? How do you go about recording that, and what's that process like?
After you schedule your signing and everything, then you'll sign your documents. We'll send them back to your lender, who is the bank that's giving you the money. They'll approve your documents. We will balance with the lender to make sure all of the numbers are matching. Everybody's in conjunction with each other. And once we balance, the bank sends us the money to fund on your loan, and we record.
Now, in the end, say the buyer's trying to get money back. How can the buyer get money back?
They can get their earnest money deposit back.
That's right.
Yep.
So there's no other way to get any other money. Sometimes there's a misconception that they can lend a little bit more and get a little bit more back, and it doesn't work that way.
No, the most I've ever seen is the earnest money deposit you can get back, and that's usually when you're using a grant, like the ones that we talked about on our last segment, and or your appraisal.
Okay.
And that's usually for VAs, and
Very
if they
good.
charge it. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And Brian, how
Yes.
can you assist when we're going through this process? Would you be assisting the buyer, the seller, the agent? How can you help?
Well, as a title company, Old Republic Title, we are a disinterested third party, as Don mentioned. In other words, we don't take sides of the buyer, we don't take sides of the seller. We are a disinterested, neutral third party, taking basically all sides to get the transaction closed. But what I can do to help facilitate this is, if for whatever reason there's any documents that need to get to Don's desk that need to be picked up, we can send a courier. If not, I'm probably the best dressed courier in Clark County. Also, to help facilitate the closing, myself and all of my sales representatives, we are all notaries. So for whatever reason, your client cannot make it to Old Republic Title for their signing, do not become frustrated. Call me, call one of my sales representatives, and we will go to their home. We will go to their place of occupation. We will go, or place of employment, excuse me. I've even done signings at 2 of the local prisons. So that's what we will do to make
used to be
sure
in-
your
Just kidding.
transaction
I
is
used to be a
closed.
corrections officer, sorry.
She's just joking. Okay, so we go through the process. We've actually opened escrow, gotten the docs, signed the docs, dated down, made sure there were no liens, paid everybody. So escrow gathered all the money and paid out everybody that was owed. And then we record, and they get their keys.
And they get their keys. And escrow does not deliver keys.
No.
So your agents will always give you your keys, and that is your, congratulatory time with your real estate agent for going through the process together. Absolutely.
Very good.
And-
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, if I can interject, during this process, again, the 30 to 45 day process, once you've secured your loan, please, folks, I encourage you, do not go out and open up a new line of credit. Do not go buy new furniture.
Don't buy a car.
Don't buy a car. Don't. And matter of fact, once you secure your loan until it records
Please.
and you're handed your keys, don't do anything. Just
wait.
don't do anything, because it will adversely affect the outcome of the of your loan, and you don't want to see that happen.
So again, my name is Barbara Irwin, LVNV Homes and Land, 702-235-9298.
Dawn Weaver, Old Republic Title, 702-696-8933.
Brian Holland, Old Republic Title, 702-985-2222.
And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.